Hello book nerds and welcome back to Book Club. And today it's going to be a short video because I have unfortunately DNF'd A Dog's Purpose. And I know in my first day in my life vlog video, I talked about this book, I read the back of the book blurb, and I have unfortunately DNF'd A Dog's Purpose by Bruce Cameron. So let's get into that. So first things first, I'm going to read the back of the book blurb of A Dog's Purpose. Heartwarming, insightful, and often laugh out loud funny, A Dog's Purpose is not only the emotional story of a dog's many lives, but also a dog's eye commentary on human relationships and the unbreakable bond between man and man's best friend. This moving and beautifully crafted story teaches us that love never dies, that our true friends are always with us, and that every creature on earth is born with a purpose. It sounds very fun, it sounds very sweet, very calming. This should have been an easy, fun, emotional read. It wasn't. I started this book like 2 weeks ago, and I read about 40 pages in about 30 minutes. Then I didn't read this for like 6-7 days, for like a week. And then I read it for another like 80 pages in about an hour. And that was like 6 days ago. And it's not that the book is hard. It's not that the book is terrible. It's just kind of boring. And my whole thing with DNFing is that I do not want to DNF a book unless I gave it a proper shot. I can't just read the first chapter and go like, oh, well, I gave it the old college try, so I'm just gonna throw this book away. It's like, no, I actually read half of the book. I've already read half of the book. And some people will just kind of go, oh, well, why don't you just keep reading it? You're already halfway through. Just finish the book. No, I'm not gonna finish a book that isn't keeping my interest, that isn't entertaining for me. I mean, I'm not reading this to analyze it and give you like a literature 12 font 7-page essay on the meaning and depth of the book. I'm not doing this as a school assignment. I'm reading for fun, for pleasure, just because I saw the book and I went, hey, I might be interested in this. I think this will be a fun story to read. And the story was fine, I guess. I mean, the reason why I am DNFing A Dog's Purpose is for the sole fact that it was boring. I mean, the story wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It wasn't like, oh my goodness, I can't stop reading this. I have to read it until I finished. It wasn't like that, but it also wasn't like, this is the worst trash ever. I can't believe I even spent a minute reading this. It's like, no, it wasn't like that either. It's just boring. I forgot I was reading this book. I should not forget I was reading a book at all. Especially when I got 40 pages in the first time I read it. The first time I was ever reading this book, I got 40 pages into it in about 20 minutes. I was like, okay, it's a bit of a slow start. I'm about 3 or 4 chapters in. I've only been reading for about 20 minutes. It's a quick read. So maybe I'll just, be able to go through this really easily next time I pick it up. And I planned on picking it up the next day. Oh, but I had work, and then I had to do my chores, and then I was doing this, and normally, whatever free time I had, I would go like, hey, I still have a book I want to read, so I'm going to pick up the book, and I'm going to read for maybe about another 30 minutes to an hour. When I had free time, I didn't remember I had a book I was reading at all, which is kind of insane, because when I read books, and I like the book that I'm reading, it's like, oh, I have free time. Now I can finally pick up the book I've been reading and finish the book. That's what I did with Artemis Fowl. Every free chance I got, I was like, ooh, I can now read Artemis Fowl. The only reason why I didn't read Artemis Fowl every time I had free time was because I had chores and I had work and I was just busy. I was not busy for the last 2 weeks. Not that busy at the very least. I still had chores. I still had obligations. But it was like every time I had free time and enough free time to like sit down and relax, oh, I'm just gonna put on some TV. I'm gonna watch that YouTube channel I've been meaning to watch for lately. I'm gonna listen to that song I've been wanting to listen to. I forgot I had a book. And then I remembered I had a book 5-6 days ago. And then I read for an hour. And I got almost halfway through. And then I forgot about it again. And the only reason why I remembered I was reading this book was...
Oh my God!
Hello? The only reason why I remembered I was reading this book is because I had this book in my bag with me the entire 2 weeks. Like, I'm not kidding. I have a messenger bag that I keep with me that I take everywhere. Whether I'm going out, I'm going shopping, I'm going to work, I'm going to my appointments, I bring my messenger bag with me. And it has my notebook, it has my book, it has my phone charger, my headphones. It has my wallet, my glasses that I need for whenever I read or when I drive. And I forgot it was in there until I had to dig through my bag to find something. I was like, oh, hey, that's right. I'm reading a book. Wait, crap, I'm reading a book. I need to keep reading this. This should have been an easy read. This should have been like a 3-day read. This should not be taking 2+ something weeks. It's not that hard of a book to read. Why is it so difficult for me to remember I'm reading a book? It's because the book is not interesting, and I'm sorry. Like, I've seen clips of the movie. That's part of the reason why I got the book, is because I haven't seen the movie in full. I know it's a movie. I haven't seen the movie in full, but I've seen clips of it occasionally on Instagram, and it's always like the same clip. It's the dog going, my name is Bailey, 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 Bailey. That's it! That's the only clip I have seen of this stupid movie. And I love dogs. I love dogs. I love animal stories. I love the take of this of like, oh, we're going to see like this through like the dog's mind, a dog living with people and how that's going to work. I don't know why I was struggling so much. It's just the mid story. That doesn't make it bad. It's just mid to me. It's not that interesting. Because, again, the whole plot of this story is just a dog being a dog, I guess. Again, I'm halfway through the book already, and nothing really interesting or significant happened. And we're going to get into a bit of the plot, or the plot that I have read so far. Okay, so the plot that I have read, it starts off with the dog, this dog right here, you know, living its life as a puppy, as a stray, that gets picked up by humans, and the humans take the dogs to what they call a yard, which is basically just these animal lovers keep finding these stray dogs and taking them to their home and getting so many dogs in their enclosure that it's illegal to have that many animals. And at first, the dog was just, you know, they were a puppy, and it's first-person point of view. That actually, surprisingly, has nothing to do with the storytelling, despite the fact that it's one of my least favorite forms of storytelling. But I didn't mind it as much in this, so I don't know what that says about me. Anyway, main dog character going through life in the yard of, like, going like, oh, I have, like, a couple of my siblings here, Fast, sister. They had another sibling called Hungry. They died because strays and ate bad garbage. The mother escaped, and the dog is, like, who got named Toby. Toby's enjoying his life in the yard with the dogs, living a pack life. And then a new aggressive dog gets brought in, who used to be a fighting dog, immediately takes down, like, the big boss, which is, like, a big mastiff dog, who was in charge of the pack, in a sense. And then everything gets, like, turned around, and Toby ends up fighting the dog with his brother, Fast, because the dog started bullying on Sister. And that's the dog's names that he gave them and all that. And then Toby ends up getting crushed, and his leg gets broken, so then he gets taken to the vet, and someone snitches on the people of like, hey, they have too many dogs, so then all the dogs get taken away. And then because Toby, the main dog character, has a broken leg, he gets put into a hot room with the aggression dog, an older dog, and a young dog, and from my understanding, he died. I don't know, basically all these dogs got put into a hot room, and that's how he first dies. Then he wakes up, he's reborn as a golden retriever. He escapes the breeding facility because that's apparently where he was held. He escapes, he's found on the side of the road. He gets locked in a car. He almost dies of heat exhaustion. And then a woman comes by, breaks the car door open, saves him, takes him back home where he meets Ethan, like this really young kid. And then from there on, the story is just the dog whose new name is Bailey, you know, growing up with Ethan, you know, going from puppy and child, having fun school days, you know, like the summers are so much fun going down by the creek, meeting other dogs and other people, Bailey learning how to be a dog, interacting with humans and being a pet, realizing that Ethan is his person and probably his purpose of being there and all that. And, you know, like, oh, he's not allowed to do this, but he's allowed to do that, and how the humans don't make sense. Like, that's so silly. Why would they bring a cat in? They already have me. And just, it's a dog going through a dog's life, I guess, and, you know, you get ticked off the American dream story kind of thing. You know, boy growing up with his dog, you know, teaching him how to play fetch, do tricks. Over the summers, they go to a farm where, you know, riding horses, swimming in the pond, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's fine. It's good. It's soul food. I've been calling this book a coffee table book, and goes to the farm, goes to school. Bailey learns more about being like a domesticated dog and being a pet, you know, learning to use a dog door, being in a doghouse, sleeping with Ethan in his bed or at his feet at the side of his bed. When they're at the farm, Ethan, you know, is left alone for a few nights and gets lost in the woods. And Bailey helps him keep warm. They get back to the farm, and then they're back to school, and then Ethan's now a teenager, and he's playing football, and Bailey gets taken to the football games. Ethan knows how to drive, so Bailey gets to go on car rides with him. And Ethan falls in love with a girl from the farm life, and so she comes to visit him. There's a character named Todd, who is a psychopath, who's trying to stir up shit between, like, Chelsea, the girl from the farm, that Ethan really likes, and Ethan, by saying, like, oh, Ethan's dating this girl, and blah, blah, blah. And then Toby sets fire to their house, which Bailey then bites his leg, and he runs off. Ethan then, like, smashes out the window and falls down and hurts his leg, big injury, and, you know, he can't do the football scholarship anymore. And then he goes, lives at the farm, does school there, stays with, you know, his girlfriend there, stays with his grandparents on the farm. Bailey loves it there. And then where I stopped at was Ethan's going off to college. That was half the book. And you basically just gave me the most basic story. Like, I get it. It's slightly more interesting because it's from the dog's point of view. But other than that, it's still the most basic story of, like, an American boy grows up, wants to be a football star, and he's, you know, finds love and used to work on a ranch, and I don't know. To me, this is, like, such a basic story. I don't know if that's because, like, modern media has, like, already, like, infested my brain, and I already know this is kind of, like, a cliche of, like, oh, could have been a football star, but one injury or accident caused that, but he's got a gal, and he's doing his best to do what he can, and it's just, it's an okay story. The story is good. It's not great. It's not terrible. I just find it boring, and that's why I'm DNFing it, because it should not take me 2 weeks to read a book that should have only realistically taken me 3 days. I got to the halfway point of the book, like literally, I figure out how many pages there are in the book, and then I divide that by 2. I get to that point, I finish the chapter, and then I debate whether or not I'm going to keep finishing this book. Am I going to keep reading it? Is it even worth it? And is it worth it to keep reading? Maybe, but it's already taken me 2 weeks to get this far, and the only reason why it took me 2 weeks is because I had 3 reading sessions in between those 2 weeks. Like, I have the free time to read the book. I just keep forgetting I have this book, that I'm reading this book. When I'm thinking about reading and books, I'm thinking of other books. I'm thinking about reading other things. I'm thinking about writing my own stories. I'm not thinking about this book and this story and of like, what's gonna happen to Bailey? Is he gonna be sad and depressed like how most dogs are after their favorite person leaves to go to college? Are we gonna see, like, Bailey slowly growing older with Ethan, you know, going to college and getting together with Chelsea, and they're gonna get married and have kids one day, and then Bailey's gonna meet the baby and figure out what that's all about? And I feel like I'm already predicting what's probably gonna happen, and since, you know, it's talking about, in the back of the book blurb, you know, the many lives of the dog, I'm like, okay, so we're gonna basically get the rest of, like, Bailey's natural life with Ethan and Chelsea, and maybe if they have a daughter or a son or whatever their child is going to be. And he's probably going to get reincarnated again as a different dog, maybe as like a pet dog to their daughter or to their son, or maybe they have twins. Do they have twins and now, like, Bailey's a dog to the twins? Like, I don't know. I don't care. I can see the story going in different directions, but I don't know. For me, it's just, it's not great. It's not terrible. It belongs on a coffee table to pick up and leisurely read and put down and forget about for months and then pick up and leisurely read. You know, it goes in that one subgenre of like, you're not terrible, but it's not memorable, I guess. I don't know, that's really my opinion, and I don't mean to offend anyone. I don't mean to harp on, like, the author either, because writing a book is hard, it's difficult. I'm trying to write one, but I could also just be being very dramatic about it. It's not that deep, it's not that much, but, like, I'm not gonna finish the book. I'm not gonna finish the book, at least this year, I don't think. Maybe when life slows down for me, maybe I'll be like, you know what, I'll give, you know, A Dog's Purpose another chance, but I don't really want to read this. I don't want to finish reading this. I want to read other stuff. I have so many other books. It's like, I could read, like, let me read some of these other stuff, you know? Anyway, that was A Dog's Purpose. I'm sad to DNF it, but there's probably other books I'd be more interested in reading anyway. If you're interested in what I'm going to be talking about next week, I know I put up a little thing for when I did Artemis Fowl video, so I'm going to put up that same picture again because I don't remember what I'm technically supposed to be reading next, but I'm going to go figure that out. I'm going to grab that book and I'll probably start reading it tomorrow. I have work today. I have to get more chores done. I just finished a reading session, got halfway through, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. I gotta make the video now, or I'm gonna forget to make the video, like how I've been forgetting I have this book. Anyway, my book nerds, thank you so much for tuning in to Book Club. Like, subscribe, give me a comment. Have you read the book? Have you seen the movie? Is the movie better than the book? Is the movie something I should take a chance on? Or do you think that I shouldn't have DNF'd it and just grit my teeth and continued reading the other half of the book? But I stand by what I said. If I have to read more than half the book to try and get slightly interested, then I think I'm in my right to DNF it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! God, there's something wrong with me, I guess. So, a lot of the books I have, I bought from secondhand stores. I don't remember buying a lot of the books, but I do know that if I bought them, I must have had some sort of interest in them. And I just finished my recording of A Dog's Purpose, my second DNF of a book. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab the next book that I said I was going to read because I have a little list of all the books I want to read this year, or at least I have the next 100 books that I want to read. And so I was like, okay, this next book is called Blood on the Water. I was like, all right, that sounds interesting. Let me find it. Let me go through my categories. It's in the mysteries. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. And I find it. I find Blood on the Water. How do I keep doing this to myself? It is the 6th book in the Vampire Files. The 6th book. And I don't know if I can read the 6th book without reading the first 5, which also, by the way, I have the 5th book. I have the 5th and 6th book, but not the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th book of the Vampire Files. And it seems really interesting. It's a vampire who's a private investigator. I want the first few books, so that way I could try and read this series, and this book isn't even that long. It's like 200 pages. It's 199 pages. I just saw that. I can't read these. It's not like with, Prom Night for Slasher Victims, where I accidentally started reading it and then only found out halfway through the book that it was part of a series. No, I found out before I started reading it, it's part of a series, because guess what? It says it right there at the top. How the hell did I miss that? So now I gotta either find a different book to read and claim it as a free space, or I just move on to the next book, which would be Crumbs, but I don't want to go to Crumbs just yet. I want to read. I think I'm gonna have to just take it as a free space and just read whatever, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna try and find out if I can read the Vampire Files out of order. I'm gonna do some research on that, but I don't want to read it I don't want to read it out of order if it is going to be out of order, like if there's an overlapping plot over the course of the series. But, oh my, how do I keep doing this to myself? I didn't mean to do that. I got 2 of the same book. Did they not have the rest of them? This is driving me insane. How did I end up doing this to myself? This is like the 5th time I've done this to myself. I have so many books that are out of order, out of series. This is because, no, this is because I like shopping at thrift stores and thrift bookstores. That's the problem. God, I might just have to look on thrift books if they have the Vampire Files to read this, but I have to find another book to read that I haven't read before. Or I don't know, maybe I should pick another mystery since that's what I was gonna read, but maybe I could read Agatha Christie. I don't know. I gotta find a book. Maybe I will just read Crumbs, or maybe I'll read a different comic. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll read comics. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is pissing me off. Why did I do this to myself? Why am I like this? God, I gotta have more awareness skills. Maybe I'll read. God, what do I read now? See, this is why I have the list. I have the list so I won't be agonizing over what to read. Because, I could read Bookshops and Bone Dust or Legends and Lattes. I could read Agatha Christie. I could read the classics of horrors like Dracula, or I could reread Frankenstein. I could go to the comics and read Fangirl or Comey Can't Communicate, Black Butler. I have Batman comics. I have the Odyssey as a comic. I have the actual Odyssey as a normal book over there. I have Pride and Premeditation, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, Spellbound. I have Crumbs, which is already on the list, which would have been after Blood on the Water, but Blood on the Water is the 6th book. I have so many books to read that I want to read, but where do I start? This is why I had the list. I have a list. I go like, oh, you're right. You know what? Here's this book. You know what happens after that book? I go down the list and I keep reading the books after that. And of course, in between, I have free spaces because there's going to be times where it's like, you know what? I don't want to listen to the list. I want to read what I want to read. But right now, I don't want to read what I want to read because I don't know what I want to read. I want to follow the list, but the list... I'll figure this out. I'm going to find a D20. I'm going to find one of my dice, and I'm just going to roll it, and we're going to see what happens. Because this is starting to drive me a little insane. God damn. This is why I have the list. Reading books should not be this complicated. See you in the next chapter.